Hello everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. I hope everybody's having a great afternoon out there, and welcome back. We will be going over several things here in today's live stream. And before we get to the live stream here, does everybody hear me okay? This is a new mic setup for me. I did put a different area where I put my mic in the area that I work in here, so make sure everybody can hear me here, and then we'll get going. But thank you guys so much for joining this afternoon, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday afternoon out there. It's a cold day out there. I know if you're stepping out the door across the northern United States, you're probably needing the winter jacket out there. That is for sure, but there is a poll question in the comment section or the chat that is above. Are you ready for spring? Everybody vote your answer, yes or no. I will be ending that poll here very soon, and we may be doing additional polls through the live stream. But welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel below, especially for detailed weather breakdowns. We do cover North America, especially into southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics. When tropical weather season comes around, we cover that as well. Also, be sure to press the like button down below on this live stream. That's very important. It helps to get all of this information passed along to more and more people, and I definitely appreciate all of my subscribers and everybody joining me this afternoon. So let's get right into the forecast here. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack here. Let's look at our geopotential height. And what this basically shows is where you see the purples, the pinks, and the blues, that's where the colder anomalies technically are in the atmosphere. And where you see the greens, yellows, and oranges, that's where we have more of that mild Pacific air and Gulf of Mexico moisture further to the south here. Notice the coldest of our air is behind us up here into eastern portions of Canada. That actually made its way through the eastern U.S. over the past few days. That's why it has been so cold. But notice, back across south central Canada, back into portions of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, there's a second area, a second push of cold air that is starting to enter in to the upper Midwest and the upper Great Lakes regions today. This is our second push of cold air, and this is going to be diving southbound as we go into tonight here. But let's look at highs this afternoon before we get to that. So this afternoon, you're walking out the door and you're probably wanting to wear a sweatshirt or a winter jacket of some sort. It is definitely pretty chilly out there. Not as cold as we've seen the past few days, but it is pretty cold out there across the upper Midwest. We're seeing highs this afternoon into the middle and upper single digits. And then the freezing line is a little bit further to the south across Central Plains, the Ohio Valley, and in towards that I-95 corridor this afternoon. You factor in a slight breeze out there. It doesn't take much, and we see some pretty cold wind chills this afternoon into the single digits, and teens below zero are our wind chills there, especially into Montana, eastern Wyoming, getting in through the Dakotas there, Minnesota, and the Northwoods of Wisconsin. It's definitely pretty chilly out there, so make sure to bundle up in layers as you go outdoors through the rest of today, because it is cold. Frostbite can set in 20 to 30 minutes with wind chills of 15 to 20 degrees below zero. So we want to make sure we do bundle up in all layers heading outdoors. Now, as we were talking about, here is the second push of cold air. Notice that blue line shifts further south as we go into tomorrow. This is Friday, January 19th. You see that shifting south through the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and portions of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. And that means our second push of cold air will be on its way as we go into Friday. And then as we go into Saturday, notice that pivots further east. So the center of that cold air will be focusing its attention on the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast in New England as we go into your Saturday timeframe to begin the weekend. And then finally by Sunday, we start to see a transition day out of this deep freeze that we've been in. So let's walk you through day by day our temperatures morning and afternoon and show you what you can expect out there, because it will be cold. This morning, as we know, it was pretty cold, but as we go into Friday morning, we're going to see temperatures on either side of zero up here across the north central states. We could be the single digits above zero, single digits below zero as we go into your Friday morning. The freezing line dropping all the way south here into central Texas, the lower Mississippi Valley, and into the southeast to start your Friday morning. And here comes your wind chills. You know, we only have a 10, 15 mile per hour breeze in a lot of these areas, and it knocks our wind chills down well below zero into the teens, 20s, even 30 degrees at times below zero up here into the Dakotas, into eastern Montana there, and even Nebraska, the Hawkeye state of Iowa, pretty chilly there for your Friday morning, likely needing those wind chill advisories out here. So your local National Weather Service offices are likely hoisting those wind chill advisories for those hazardous wind chills as we go into your Friday morning time Friday morning time frame. But notice, even down here into Texas, 17 degrees above zero is our wind chill on your Friday morning, 24 there in Shreveport, 24 in Jackson, Mississippi, 18 in Nashville. We have a little snowpack there, so that's enhanced by that snowpack. And then as we go into Friday afternoon, we warm up, but not much. Notice our highs, as we see today, into the double digits at times across some of these areas, are actually down into the single digits for tomorrow afternoon as that cold air comes in. The freezing line drops further south tomorrow than it is today. And then as we go into tomorrow afternoon, we're not making it above zero with our wind chills across the upper Midwest. It's going to remain below zero for the most part. And then as we go into Saturday morning, the core of the cold air is actually going to be placed across the upper Midwest. That's our core of the second push of Arctic air, and it's really going to be centered across eastern Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota there into southern Minnesota and into portions of Iowa. That is where the core of the cold air will be on Saturday morning. We're talking 5, 10, even 15 degrees below zero waking up on your Saturday morning. And look at to the south, folks, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. We are seeing those temperatures below freezing. We're seeing 30 degrees there in the Houston region, 28 in towards Lake Charles, Louisiana, 30 degrees in New Orleans, and yes, 29 over here into northwest Florida near the Tallahassee region, Panama City, and definitely very cold out there, 17 in Atlanta for your Saturday morning low temperature. And when you factor in the wind again on Saturday morning, there we go. We got more wind chill advisories likely to be hoisted by your local National Weather Service offices up here across the upper Midwest and into the Ohio Valley region, Great Lakes region, and interior New England. A widespread area of 10, 20, even 30 degrees below zero wind chills to start your Saturday morning. So if you are heading out for breakfast on Saturday morning or running any errands out here across the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, or interior New England, please bundle up in layers because it will be dangerously cold once again to start your Saturday. Saturday afternoon now, it starts to get a little bit warmer, but we're still hanging down into the single digits for our high temperatures across the upper Midwest and getting through portions of the Great Lakes region. And again, we have those teens for highs by Saturday afternoon across the Ohio Valley and into interior New England. So overall, it's going to be a cold weekend. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And going through Saturday afternoon, our wind chills as we start the morning 20 to 30 below across the upper Midwest, we're only going to improve to around 10 to 20 below into the afternoon in some of these areas. So still staying very cold through your Saturday time frame. And then going into Sunday, like I mentioned, we start to pivot that cold pocket aloft further off to the north and east into eastern Canada by the 21st of January, and we start to see more of that Pacific air and Pacific flow start to take over as we have more westerly and southwesterly winds aloft, starting to bring some milder air from the eastern Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico as we see that transition day on Sunday. So looking at Sunday morning, we're waking up cold. We have that snowpack. You can definitely see where the deep snowpack is. Southern Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, east central Iowa, into northern Illinois. You can see that is where we have that deep snowpack. Temperatures Sunday morning will start below zero, but notice the wind chills. Again, 20 degrees below zero, so likely more wind chill advisories for your Sunday morning here as we go across the western lakes and into the upper Midwest. Notice, though, big improvements as we go into Sunday afternoon. We have more of that westerly, southwesterly flow aloft here, and that will start to provide more of those teens and 20s for high temperatures up into the upper Midwest, into the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and interior New England as we go into Sunday afternoon. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Wind chills by Sunday afternoon should improve to above 0 in most instances across these regions. Now let's talk precipitation. So that's enough about the temperatures. You guys get it. It's cold out there. So let's look here at our current weather alerts. We have some weather to talk about here. We have winter weather advisories in the purples here, stretching from northeastern Montana through portions there of South Dakota, getting into Nebraska, Iowa, northern Illinois, through the Ohio Valley there and into the mid-Atlantic. Even some winter weather advisories down into Kentucky and into portions of Tennessee as well. That is for a separate system. So we're having seeing moisture moving up from the Gulf of Mexico as we go through the next 24-48 hours from portions of like the New Orleans region, lifting up toward Memphis and Nashville. And then we have a second system caught in northwest flow aloft up here across the Midwest, diving down through the Midwest and into the Ohio Valley. Those will intersect each other and meet across the Ohio Valley, enhancing some of our snowfall potential as we go through the next couple of days. Now we have to get this out of the way. We know lake effect snow is a big deal. We have winter storm warnings in northwestern Indiana and southwestern Michigan here. If you are around the Benton Harbor region, South Bend, the Plymouth area here into northwest Indiana, maybe back towards portions of Gary, Indiana, we have to keep an eye on those heavier snowfall bands with these lake effect snow bands as we go in towards the weekend time frame. And you can see that stretches over here toward Lake Erie as well. You can see the Sandusky region, Cleveland in play, over here to Erie, Pennsylvania. We have those winter storm warnings where we are gearing up for some significant snowfall as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours here into the weekend. And then we have lake effect snow warnings for western New York, for places like Buffalo. We've already gotten a lot of snow here, a couple feet or more of snow with our past lake effect snow event. We're going to be seeing more of that here continuing through the day. And then you can see that up here toward the Fulton and Watertown, New York region as well, with those lake effect snow warnings continuing over the next couple of days. So here is your current weather conditions as we go through right now. You can see the radar. We have some snowfall. It's light snow. It's fluffy snow as well. It's cold out. This is not a wet snow like we've been seeing. This is a fluffy snow. It's easy to blow around here. This is across southeastern portions of South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, and getting through much of central and western Iowa. It's probably snowing right now in Des Moines, Omaha, and then up here into portions of eastern Nebraska right now. We are seeing an icy mix down here. That's why we have those winter weather advisories across the lower Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley, places like southern Kentucky into middle Tennessee, or in and around the Nashville region, probably seeing a mix of rain, freezing rain, and sleet, and even some snowflakes down here. Just a icy mess across those regions right now. So taking you through tonight, that system moving up from the south will start to intercept that energy coming in across the Midwest, and that will be across the Ohio Valley through tonight, through that midnight time frame. We'll start to see snow flying across southern Wisconsin, much of the Illinois Valley here, places like Rockford, Illinois, getting into Chicago here in the western suburbs, all the way down into Peoria, Springfield, St. Louis, even seeing some snowflakes there through tonight. The snow will pick up as it moves further east into places like Indiana, southern lower Michigan, much of the state of Ohio. I know you guys have seen not much snow this year. We're going to be picking up some snow with this system, that is for sure. And that starts tonight into portions of northern Kentucky, getting into West Virginia, and then stretching over into western PA there into Pennsylvania, we'll start to see snow. So places like Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, getting into Toledo and Cleveland, Columbus, down toward Lexington, Kentucky, Charleston, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh, we'll start to see some snow tonight. Then as we go into your Friday, that starts to shift further east. It's a quick hitting system. We have very fast flow aloft with the jet stream, so it's not going to hang around long, but it will be pushing further east, and it's a potent clipper system. So we're going to be seeing some snow continuing into your Friday morning commute for Pennsylvania. So Harrisburg, back toward Pittsburgh there, eastern Ohio, we're going to be seeing that. So we're definitely seeing the snowfall for your Friday morning commute. Over there into New Jersey, yes, you guys haven't seen a lot of snow. We'll be seeing snow there for much of the state of New Jersey, including the Trenton region, getting up into New York City, Long Island, seeing snowfall. This is the fluffy snow. It's cold out there. It's easy to blow around, and then you can see that stretching up into central and western Massachusetts. Massachusetts, the Hartford region in Connecticut, and Rhode Island as we go into your Friday time frame. And finally, by Friday night, we'll see some remnant flurries across Cape Cod, down through Long Island there. But I think as we go deeper into Friday night, probably after midnight time frame, we will start to shut off the snow machine across the Northeast, and we'll be focusing our attention on that lake effect snow that will continue to rumble across portions of the lakes going through the weekend time frame. So let's look here at our snowfall accumulations expected. Here's your snow accumulation in inches from now all the way through your Saturday morning time frame on January 20th. You can see a narrow corridor, but a potent corridor of snowfall here from the Midwest down through the southern lakes here, including that lake effect snow. We don't want to forget about that. And then across portions of the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. Yes, and including that I-95 corridor this time. So let's look at it region by region. Let's start back here to the west where the system is currently across the Midwest and into the western Great Lakes. You can see through portions of Iowa, eastern Nebraska, and southeastern South Dakota here, even a little small sliver there of southern Minnesota. We could be talking a good 1 to 3 inches worth of snow here. An isolated spot or two could be seeing 3.5 to 4 inches worth of snowfall as we go through the Friday morning commute. So this is just between now and Friday morning. This is the snow that'll be dropping across the Midwest. That will stretch eastward. Southern Wisconsin here, the Madison region, Prairie du Chien, getting over there toward Janesville, Monroe, Milwaukee, up there toward Sheboygan. We're talking about potentially 1 to 3 inches worth of snow, an isolated 4-inch total there. That'll stretch down into northern Illinois, Rockford, down through Princeton, getting into Peoria there, the Aurora region, DeKalb, and getting into Chicago area with that 1 to 3 inch snowfall, isolated 4-inch amounts here through Friday morning. And then moving further east into the Ohio Valley, southern lower Michigan, Indiana, especially northern Indiana. Look at that lake effect snow band, folks. That's why we have those winter storm warnings into portions of South Bend there, into Gary, and then stretching over just to the west of Fort Wayne. We could be talking a nice swath of over a foot of snow here right near the lake there of the southern shoreline of Lake Michigan, and then a good 2 to 4, even 5 inches of snow across northern portions of Indiana, including portions of Indianapolis there. The heaviest will be north of Indianapolis, and then we'll start to see more snow overspreading the entire state of Ohio into West Virginia, down into Kentucky, especially eastern Kentucky, down the Appalachians here into portions of eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina. And then notice the snowfall picks up when that system comes up from the south and we have that energy moving in from the northwest. They meet together. It's enhancing our snowfall accumulations. So you see that across Pennsylvania, western New York, Pittsburgh picking up probably 4 or 5 inches of snow between Friday morning and Friday night. Harrisburg region around 2 to 3 inches. Yeah, Philadelphia, we could be picking up 4 inches of snow with this. Trenton, New Jersey, possibly up to 5 inches of snow at most with this system. And then across the Northeast, that I-95 corridor, we could be talking about easily a 1/2 inch to up to 2 inches worth of snow from Boston through Hartford there. New York City looks like we're getting around 2 inches of snow with this system. Long Island could be getting a little bit more, up to 3 inches there across Long Island. So definitely seeing some decent snows. Albany, New York, probably around 1 inch. And then you have those heavier lake effect snows back here toward Buffalo and Watertown, where we could see over 6 inches of snowfall between Friday morning and Friday night. Looking at the ice accumulations, with that second system as it moves north, we will be seeing some ice here further to the south as we go across mainly Middle Tennessee here. So in and around the Nashville, Crossville, and Knoxville areas here into Middle and Eastern Tennessee, we're going to be seeing around a few hundredths to up to 1/10 of an inch of ice, and that is just enough to cause some treacherous travel out here. That could stretch up into southwestern and southern Kentucky here. Some of that icing could actually enter into northern Alabama, so we definitely have to keep an eye on that for our friends down in Alabama as we go through your Friday morning commute. So this is between now, tonight, and into your Friday morning. We have some icing potential here across portions of Tennessee there. So looking at the winter storm severity index now through Friday morning, looks like we're going to be seeing a decent corridor of at least minor travel disruptions across portions of the northern plains, getting through the Midwest here and into the southern lakes. So definitely take it slow on those roadways as we go through your Friday morning commute. And then from Friday morning through Saturday morning time frame, that will stretch up into portions of the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, including I-95 there, and definitely seeing the potential for some moderate travel disruptions, even into places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Trenton over there through your Saturday morning. So take it slow out on those roadways. Now, here's the new updated drought monitor. This is the U.S. drought monitor that was released this afternoon on January 18th here today. And you can see we still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of drought here across the United States as a whole. And you can see a couple of concentrated corridors where we have some significant drought in play across the Midwest here from southwestern Wisconsin, especially down through Iowa, eastern Nebraska, and northern Kansas here. That's where that corridor of moderate, severe, and extreme drought does start to set up there. We have another pocket of some significant drought, very concentrated across the southern Four Corners region. So into eastern and southeastern Arizona, much of the state of New Mexico, into southern Colorado, and then it picks up again across southern Texas, but more so across Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas, much of northern Mississippi. We are in a very significant drought here, exceptional drought into northern Mississippi, and then up into western portions of Tennessee and northwest Alabama. We still need to do some work there with our drought. And looking at our soil moisture anomalies, this goes all the way back to the last day of December. This is December 31st, back on New Year's Eve. And you can see that our drought is really significant across the southern U.S., especially across Dixie Alley here from Louisiana through Mississippi, Alabama, and up into southern Tennessee. We have very low soil moisture. The departure from normal is well below normal here. Normal is in the white, and you can see we're in the maroon reds across the majority there of Louisiana, Mississippi, and northwestern Alabama, and even up into the Ohio Valley. We really just need the rainfall. So going back to the last day of December and now to present day, or at least yesterday here, this is on January 17th. I know today's the 18th, but just look at the soil moisture. We have improved a little bit since the last day of December, but we still need to do some work here across Dixie Alley and the Deep South here, and even the Ohio Valley here. So we're definitely seeing some good signs moving forward, though. So here's your total accumulated precipitation in inches between now and the very end of this month on January 31st. And you see this is an ensemble. It takes about 35 members and puts them into a mean or an average. And you can see that the average rainfall accumulation from coastal Texas through portions of central and southern Louisiana and getting up into southern and central Mississippi in these red shaded colors is a few inches. So definitely seeing an average of a few inches of rain across the lower Mississippi Valley region going through the end of January. And even some of that heavier rain stretches up into portions of Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau, getting into the Smoky Mountains region, and then into portions of the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky as we go through the end of this month. And that's very important for our drought. But the thing that is not good is that a lot of this rainfall will actually be coming in a short amount of time. So the Climate Prediction Center put this graphic out just a couple of days ago from the 25th through the 31st timeframe, essentially the last week of January. And you do see we have a slight to a moderate risk of excessive rainfall and moisture down here across the southeast and the deep south, with the heaviest concentration across Dixie Alley. So across East Texas, southeastern Arkansas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, into northwest Florida here, western Georgia, and southern Tennessee. So we're going to keep an eye on that for our friends down there for some flooding issues moving forward. So even though we have a dry ground, you get a lot of moisture, a lot of rainfall in a short amount of time. Whether or not you have a drought or not, we still could be seeing some pretty significant flooding. So let's look at our next system. This could have a lot of different impacts with it. It really depends on where you live in association with the impacts. So across the Midwest, we are cold still. Look at the blue line up here, the 540 line, all the way up into portions of the Midwest and through the Ohio Valley. You go along and north of that line, you're at or below freezing. So, and you look south of that line, you are above freezing, and you see for the most part, we are seeing rainfall, but notice just a few thousand feet above our heads by Sunday night, there's going to be a warm nose aloft, a warm layer in the atmosphere that is going to actually produce more freezing rain and sleet potential for the southern plains here. Now, there is a lot of uncertainty in where this starts to set up. Some models have this down starting into central or northern Texas. Other models don't have Texas getting freezing rain or sleet at all and actually lifts it more north into Oklahoma, Arkansas there, and into the central plains. So there's still uncertainty on exactly how far north that freezing rain line goes. But there is certainly a potential here that it could be a rough go of it across the Tulsa region, Oklahoma City, the Ardmore area, and then to Fort Smith there into Arkansas as we go into Sunday night. It looks like on this model in particular, the DFW Metroplex is right on that line of either all rain, all liquid precipitation, or potentially a freezing rain sleet event. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that through Sunday night. Then as we go into Monday morning, same deal. Red River is basically the dividing line between all liquid to the south and some frozen precipitation, whether that's freezing rain, sleet, or snow further to the north. And notice that lifts further north as well into Arkansas, into southeastern Kansas, Missouri, up here into western Illinois and southeastern Iowa through your Monday morning commute. So just know that if you live across the middle of the country here into those areas I just mentioned, watch out for some icing as we go into your Monday morning as soon as early next week. And then as we go into Monday afternoon, Monday night, I really don't like the look of what this looks like here. We actually see, remember, we have a deep snowpack sitting across the Midwest right now, and if you walk outdoors, you can feel it. The snowpack keeps your temperatures colder out there. It's more like a refrigerator. You open the refrigerator door and it's cold. That's what the snowpack is acting like across the Midwest. And you can see we have more of those pinks, blues, greens, purples up here. Just a mix of precipitation on your Monday afternoon, Monday night time frame. And that could coincide with your evening commute in places like Chicago, getting into Peoria, getting into St. Louis here, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Indianapolis. So we definitely have to keep an eye on this early next week. And there is concern that a lot of this could be freezing rain. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But further south, like we mentioned, heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorm activity back here. Finally, we're above freezing Monday night across Arkansas. So we may start the day on Monday with freezing rain across Arkansas and then change over to liquid, all rain, and then push that freezing rain line further north through Monday night. And then as we go through Tuesday, there's a lot of cold air sitting up here. So there very well could be a snowstorm across portions of Iowa, southwestern and central Wisconsin, getting into southeastern Minnesota and stretching across the Great Lakes regions. And then where that freezing rain line goes is very uncertain here, as Tuesday morning is still several days away. But it gives the signal that we could be seeing some icing continuing across portions of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, getting in toward portions of the Ohio Valley and the southern lakes as we go into that Tuesday morning commute now. So not only some of these areas could be seeing a morning and evening commute disruption from this storm, but also another morning commute for your Tuesday across this region. So, and then we have heavy rain continuing further to the south. Going into Tuesday night, that lifts further to the north and east. We'll be watching for icing still, though, across interior New England there and southeastern Canada. Likely more snow there as the deeper, the cold air aloft will start to take over. Probably more snow than freezing rain at this point, but looking at some heavier rounds of rain across the deep south there with more heavy rain over the same areas, and we could saturate some of our soils down here in a short amount of time. And look at that, even Wednesday morning, it's still raining across the eastern U.S. So let's look here day by day at our potential rainfall amounts, or our precipitation amounts here in inches. From Sunday night through Monday night, this is your potential. We have some very heavy rain falling across portions of East Texas down into Southeast Texas. This could include the Houston area, down toward Corpus Christi, Waco, and then up towards San Antonio, and even the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Tyler, Texas. Those areas could be seeing a nice rainfall as we go through Sunday night, through the day on Monday, and into Monday night down here. And then as we go into Monday night through Tuesday night time frame, that shifts further east. So the middle and and lower Mississippi Valley will be hardest hit by the heaviest of the rains out there, and the heaviest will be down here toward Houston, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, getting into New Orleans, and even Jackson, Mississippi, starting to see some of that. In the blues, the purples, and the reds, we're talking 2 to 4 inches of rain just between Monday night, during the day on Tuesday, and into Tuesday night time frame. And then as we shift from Tuesday night, Wednesday, and into Wednesday night, this is not the same round. This is a second round of heavy rain that will be pushing over the same area, and then we do it all over again Wednesday night, Thursday, and Thursday night, again over the same area. So when you put 2, 3, 4 rounds of rainfall over the same area, here is the result. So between now and Thursday night on the 25th of January, you can see across the deep south, the lower Mississippi Valley getting pretty hard hit here by some flooding rains across portions of Houston especially, and into Lake Charles. That looks to be the epicenter of the heaviest rain. From Houston in towards the Lake Charles region, we could easily be seeing double-digit rainfall totals between now and a week from now by next Thursday. So that is something to keep an eye on. But even up here into Jackson, Mississippi, you can see the reds there. That equates to around 3-4 inches of rain. You can see Memphis gets in on the 3-4 inches of rain, and that stretches over into Alabama. So Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, the Montgomery region, Mobile especially, seeing several inches of accumulating rain as we go in towards next week. Now let's talk about the cold side of the system. This system is going to be multifaceted. It's going to have heavy rain and thunderstorms, likely an ice accumulation side, and also a snow side with it. So looking at model number 1 with our ice accumulation here in inches, this is from Monday the 22nd through Wednesday the 24th. So the early to midweek next week, we have a narrow corridor. Now, don't focus on the amounts of icing with these models. Now, what we want to focus on is the placement in which these models are showing the icing occurring. So you can see across the northern Ohio Valley, through much of Illinois, the Illinois Valley there, and then down through portions there of the Southern Plains and the Missouri Valley. That's likely where the model number 1 is setting up the icing. Now let's look at model number 2. You can see very similar corridor here. Again, don't focus on the amounts, focus on the placement here of the icing from Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday next week. And notice it's again the northern Ohio Valley through the Illinois Valley, Missouri Valley region down into the Southern Plains. Very similar corridor here on model number 2. Now when the air gets cold enough and we don't have freezing rain, it's going to be snow. So that could be a potent corridor depending on what model you look at, and how it unfolds exactly remains to be seen. But model number 1 shows a nice corridor here from Michigan, southeastern and southern Wisconsin, potentially through northern Illinois, getting in towards northern Missouri of some decent snows here. But then look at model number 2. It's a little bit further north, but it's also a little less intense. So it has a lot of agreements with the model placement, but disagreements in the amounts and the intensity of the ice and snow. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. Now, temperatures are going to be a big deal and very critical with this system as we go into next week. Here is Monday, January 22nd. That freezing line is across the Ohio Valley, into the Mid-Atlantic and the Central Plains. North of there, it's all frozen precipitation, and likely on Monday. Remember, if we're in the upper 20s up here and it's precipitating, we are probably seeing sleet, freezing rain, and or snow across this region. And then as we go into Tuesday, that freezing line shifts a little bit further to the north, but there are question marks. How far north does the freezing line go early next week? Because we have that deep snowpack up here, that freezing line on this model has it going all the way to the north, but this could easily be a half a state further south because of that snowpack across portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. And then going into Wednesday, notice the freezing line just doesn't lift that far north due to that snowpack across that region. So here's the snowpack we've been talking about. Early next week, this is your snow depth potentially in inches. And you can see a pretty healthy swath from our recent snowstorms across the Great Lakes. Into the Midwest, we have several inches, over a foot of snow in some of these areas on the ground. So it's going to take time to melt this snow off. It's not going to melt overnight. Whether or not you get into the 40s, it's not going to melt overnight. It does take time. We even have snow up here into interior New England as well. So once we start to see that warm air surge north, that is concerning because warm air is usually more moist, and it also produces more of that fog out there. So dense fog could also be an issue. So not only could we see heavy rain, ice and snow, but also dense fog could be an issue with this as well, because you have warm, moist air over a cold and moist ground. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that early next week. So here is our confidence level. This is where we are at right now, and this is where I am at with looking at the storm. I am highly confident that there will be a storm as we go into next week. That is very confident here right now that there's going to be some type of storm across the middle of the country next week. Now, where you go to the yellow light here, which is the medium confidence, I have medium confidence in winter precipitation, which it could be snow, could be sleet, could be freezing rain occurring from the central plains and up into the Midwestern regions. And you could probably throw the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley into that conversation as well. And then the red light, the low confidence, the amount of snow and ice accumulation next week. I am not confident that what the models are showing right now is exactly how it's going to play out, as it is still 4 to 5 days out. And it's also, there's still a lot of parts with this. You know, where does the temperature line set up? Will it be above or below freezing in some of these areas? And that will impact our snowfall amounts and any ice accumulation. So we'll keep an eye on this over the next several days and keep you updated for sure on this. So just know that a storm is likely as we go into next week. Winter precipitation probably will occur, but you know, the placement of which those precipitation types will be is still in the air right now, very uncertain. And even more uncertain, as you don't know the precipitation type, you're not going to know the amount of snow and ice accumulation either for those areas, because that's just how it is. So that is what we're seeing as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. And I hope you folks enjoyed today's weather forecast this afternoon. Just wanted to update you on the big snowstorm potential. We have a lot of snow coming across the Ohio Valley, you know, enough to shovel, enough to snow blow and plow out there. I know a lot of plowing companies are scratching their head right now. They want some snow across the Ohio Valley in the Northeast, and it looks like as we go through the next few days, we're going to start to get that, and then eventually, potentially next week as well. So we'll see. All right, so does anybody have any questions regarding the forecast that we went over here today? I apologize for it being long and strung out. I just wanted to get you all the details that you need to know, temperature-wise, precipitation-wise, and everything, just kind of looking at the big picture. That's what we do here. We do detailed weather breakdowns, and we keep you ahead of the storm, so I appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns. We will keep you covered here on this channel. I'll be doing another video update tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, so be looking out for that. Also, you know, remember to like all my morning videos. It really helps to get more of the information passed along to more and more people, so I appreciate it. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification down below, and turn it on, and it keeps you notified when I go live, and also when I do my videos, it notifies you when my videos come out as well. All right, let's look at the poll here. It says, are you ready for spring? I see 416 votes. I'll leave it up for a few more minutes here. But yeah, if you haven't voted, there is a poll in the chat here. It says, are you ready for spring? Vote below. And we're going to go over that poll in a few minutes. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure to vote, and we'll see how many people are ready for spring at this point and tired of winter. So. But if you have any questions in the meantime, definitely be sure to answer, or be sure to ask those questions, and I'll be able to answer them for you to the best of my ability. So again, I appreciate everybody joining me. And yeah, here, I'll go back to the afternoon. These are your afternoon highs here today. So pick your spot on the map. Hopefully you guys can see the numbers here, and that's the highs that we see this afternoon. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick since I've been talking for a while, so I apologize. But thank you guys so much for joining. It really is great talking weather with you folks. I enjoy doing this, and I intend on doing it for years to come. So I appreciate everybody who has supported my channel, and just as simple as pressing the like button, subscribing, sharing my videos on from YouTube onto other platforms. So I really appreciate it. It's a big help. It really is. So I can't thank you enough. So thank you. So does anybody have any weather questions for me while we're here talking about the weather right now? It could be regarding temperatures, could be regarding precipitation with the snow coming up here the next few days, the lake effect snow, it could be the next storm system. I'll try to answer the questions as best as I can while I have them here. So I appreciate it. Spring needs to be here by midnight tonight, Martinez says. I am tired of El Nino and tired of the subtropical jet. Yeah, well, I didn't include it in my forecast today, but we are actually trending towards a weak El Nino right now. We are actually trending towards neutral, ENSO neutral conditions for spring. That likely won't occur until between that March and May timeframe. So probably centered around April is when we're going to see more of that ENSO neutral start to return. And we'll get rid of some of our southern jet stream a little bit with that as we go into the spring. Yes, I'm going to do a, Martinez, yes, I'm going to do a February outlook on the 1st of February. So as we go into February 1st, I will be doing I'll be doing a forecast for February once we get to that point. I'll be doing my spring forecast as well. I'm thinking to release that by the middle of February, so around the 10th, 15th time frame. I will be probably releasing my spring 2024 forecast, so be looking out for that here in the next few weeks. That will be coming out. I've already started it, and there's a lot of data to go over, and it takes a long time, so we'll be getting through that data here pretty soon. I missed the beginning. How much snow for Philadelphia and surrounding areas? Absolutely. I could show you here. Let me just get out of here and show you. I got to skip through the slides real quick. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have any questions like that, how much snow you can expect for a certain area, I can absolutely answer them. So she asked for the Philadelphia. Yes. So Philadelphia right now, it's looking like around 2 to 4 inches is a good bet for Philadelphia. So just enough to shovel and plow out there for the Philadelphia region with this snowstorm. A good couple inches is likely. And that won't happen until Friday morning. So you won't see any snow in Philadelphia until Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and going into Friday evening. So Friday will be the time frame to watch for snow there in Philadelphia. That's where we could see 2 to 4 inches accumulate. And it will be the fluffy snow for the most part. It will be fluffy snow. It's not going to be the heavy wet snow most likely as we have colder temperatures. So it'll be easier to remove if that helps out there. Because I know a lot of people don't like wet snow, including myself. I honestly do not like shoveling wet snow. It is the hardest thing to do when it's all slushy and wet. And it's so much weight to it. So this should be a little better. It could be a little wet at times, but I think mostly a fluffy snow there for Philadelphia. How much snow will northern Ohio get? Yeah, absolutely. Let's look here back at northern Ohio. It depends on where you are. So if you're near portions of northeastern Ohio, there could be a narrow corridor with that lake effect snow there where we could be seeing 6 to 9 plus inches. That is definitely a possibility, especially in northeastern Ohio. But if you're in north central or northwest Ohio, we're talking the Toledo region or Cleveland, we could be talking 3 to 6 inches. That's a good bet. And again, that will be coming through that Friday time frame. So starting Friday morning and going through Friday afternoon and then ending sometime Friday afternoon or evening for northern Ohio. So it'll be a Friday event for you. Yeah, I'll talk about that as well. When we have, I know a lot of people don't know what El Nino, ENSO neutral, and La Nina are. I could do an educational video on that, kind of talking about what the different phases of climate are and just kind of different weather patterns and stuff like that. Yeah, I could absolutely do that here in the future. Probably, the spring or summer, I could probably do that for sure. Hobbs says, a New Englander here. Don't want spring in January, but thanks for keeping us informed. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're here for. So I appreciate you joining. Thanks for joining this afternoon. How much snow for Munster, Indiana? It's near Gary and Hammond. So I'm guessing you're talking around northwest Indiana. You can see up here, if you're near that lake effect snow band, especially Gary to South Bend, we're talking over a foot. So, and that will be, mainly that will happen between tonight and your Friday morning time frame. That's when the heaviest of the snow will be. But the lake effect snow, even long after the system is gone, that system is going to re-aggravate the lakes here. So that means that lake effect snow will be going long after Friday morning. This just says Friday morning just in the general sense, but I guarantee you there will be snow long after Friday morning here in northwest Indiana with that lake effect snow. The Munster region, I would say 2 to 5 inches is a good bet. In that range, probably 2 to 5 inches. That looks like a good bet there. Locally higher amounts as you go north. So Yeah, absolutely. I like dry snow too. It's easy to remove. It's fluffy, and it has barely any weight to it. So that's why I like it. The wet snow is not. It's not cool. I don't like it. St. Louis, I see somebody saying St. Louis. I'm not really expecting much snow in St. Louis. There could be up to an inch, but I think mostly a dusting to a half an inch is likely. But if this shifts just a little bit further south, then I could see St. Louis getting up to an inch of snow, just enough to shovel out there and make travel slick. But I think most of the accumulating snow will stay up into northern and central Illinois versus southwestern Illinois and southeastern Missouri. So I think St. Louis, a dusting to a half an inch, worst case scenario, up to an inch there of snow accumulation through Friday morning in St. Louis. Looks like a ridge pattern going into early February. There's a lot of the weather models right now are trending warmer for early February, and I have to give that a little pause right now because there is some talk out there about potentially a sudden stratospheric warming event, and I haven't really looked to see if it's occurred or not and how strong it has been. There was a wind reversal in the stratosphere, and essentially, long story short, what that means is that essentially as you go up in the atmosphere, we live in the troposphere, right? So if you go up in the atmosphere to the next layer, which is the stratosphere just above us, it's colder. It's naturally colder as you go up in the atmosphere, and it's very, very, very cold up in the stratosphere. And when you are way up there in the stratosphere and it's minus 60, for example, okay? It's minus 60, and then you see a big spike in temperature to like negative 10 or 0 degrees. That is still cold, but that is a lot warmer than minus 60, and that pushes all that cold air from the stratosphere down into where we live in the troposphere, and it takes about 2 to 4 weeks for that to occur. So if that did occur a couple of days ago, then we could see some colder weather for early to mid-February, and some of that cold weather may not be shown on the weather models as it just potentially occurred. So we'll continue to watch that as we get closer here towards early February. February is going to be a tricky month to forecast just because of that. So if that did occur, February could be driven by the polar vortex for a lot of us. So we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you so much, Van Dan, for your $100 donation. Everybody, give Van Dan a smiley face, a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for your support. That is, you did not have to do that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Van Dan. Thank you for the update. I'm a truck driver and will be driving back and forth across the Ohio Turnpike for the next 20 hours or so. Wish me luck. Yeah, hopefully you stay safe out there. It looks like a little bit of snow across Ohio will be picking up as we go overnight, and especially Friday morning commute through Ohio. We're talking probably around 3 to 6 inches in most areas. The heaviest snowfall accumulations in Ohio will be across northern Ohio. So especially near the lakes there, Lake Erie, northeastern Ohio, we could be talking several inches. So we'll keep an eye on that. Lighter snowfall across southwestern Ohio, so like Cincinnati, could be seeing just an inch, inch and a half. But even that, as a truck driver, it's probably pretty slick on those roads with just a couple inches of snow. So, but thank you so much for that $100 donation. You did not have to do all that. I do appreciate it, and we thank you for being a truck driver and helping us get all our goods to all the local stores out there. I really appreciate it. How do you think travel will be for Northeast Ohio tomorrow morning? I have my baby shower this weekend and family traveling and want them to give them a heads up. Yeah, so Northeastern Ohio right now, we are seeing currently around 6 to 8 inches, especially near the lake there. So we're definitely seeing that. But in general, yeah, Northeast Ohio, 3 to 6 inches in general is a good estimate right now. And that most of that snowfall will be falling Friday morning and into Friday afternoon, and then exiting Friday afternoon and evening. So a lot of that snowfall will be coming down in a 6 to 8 hour period here. So that will be something to keep an eye on. And likely, again, 3 to 6 inches in Northeast Ohio is a good bet. Whitney says, I'm up in Lake County on the lake. I'm very nervous. Lake County, I'm not sure. Is that in northwestern Ohio or is that in Illinois? You'll have to let me know. And I can give you a forecast for how much snow you can get. I don't quite remember. I think there might be 2 lake counties. There might be a Lake County, Illinois, and Indiana. I think there might be 2. I could be wrong. There is a county in northeast Illinois and northwest Indiana, I believe, that has the same name. I think it could be Lake County. They may both have Lake counties. But I could be wrong. What do you think about the possible ice storm for St. Louis this coming week? Absolutely great question. Right now, what we know about it is, here, let me skip to the slides. So let's start here on Sunday night. You can see that starts down here into the southern plains across Tulsa and Oklahoma City and Fort Smith as we go Sunday night. St. Louis not really seeing much precipitation overnight Sunday. Monday morning commute could be different. Right now, this is one model run. It gives you an idea of what could happen. St. Louis, yeah, we could be talking maybe some freezing drizzle, freezing rain, sleet, or an icy mix across that region Monday morning for your commute out there. And then it could be transitioning to rain later in the day as that warmer air surges up from the north. But it is very uncertain, though, where that rain snow line will set up and all that stuff. So right now, like I said, with my confidence that I was showing you earlier, the confidence is high that a storm will occur. It's medium with winter precipitation. Like I mean by medium is that there's probably going to be winter precipitation like sleet, snow, freezing rain, and stuff like that. But I'm not very confident in, like, say, where that rain snow line will set up. So St. Louis, you're right on that line, much like New York City has been with the snow line this season. It's a very close call here, and if I had to bet you, I would probably go rain in St. Louis with this system probably sooner. And I think the icing will be further north, at least the more significant icing potential. And you can see on Tuesday morning, the Tuesday morning commute, probably all rain for St. Louis, and then continuing there into Tuesday afternoon. So there could be just a brief period of icing, but that's all you need. You know, you only need a couple hundredths to a tenth of an inch of ice, and that could make travel very treacherous. So yeah, we will be keeping an eye on not just St. Louis, but all the areas that could be impacted by the storm, even on the warm side. You know, with the rain and thunderstorms across the deep south, very heavy rain, that could definitely cause some flooding regardless of our significant drought. So saw your video this morning. Do I have to watch for ice in south central Kansas at all? Great question, since we're talking about that now. Yeah, I think south central Kansas, there's a potential for icing there Sunday night, maybe, especially southeastern Kansas. But I think most of the moisture as it comes up will actually start to move east of there. So you're going to be very close, but I think if anywhere in Kansas gets any icing, that'll probably be southeastern, probably far southeastern Kansas at this point. That will be Monday morning and heading into your Monday afternoon commute. So if you're in south central Kansas, like Wichita, over there toward like Salina, Kansas, Garden City, those areas, probably not much in the way of ice. That's the way it looks now. But could this shift further east? Yes, it definitely could. It's still about 4 to 5 days out, so we'll keep an eye on it for you. And that's why I'll do a forecast video again for you guys tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. so you guys can have the updated information that you need for that going ahead and going forward. How's the DC region looking tomorrow? It's looking, I'm not sure here. Let's go back to... All right, let's go back to this slide here. So Washington, D.C., looks like some snow showers will be possible as we go into Friday. The back end of that snow will be all the way down into portions of Maryland and Northern Virginia. And then heading into Friday night, that will move off. So as we go through Friday morning, Friday afternoon, there could be some snowfall, some snow showers there across portions of Washington, D.C. And looking at those snowfall accumulations for that region, we could be seeing maybe up to an inch, worst case scenario for Washington, D.C. there. The further south you go into Delaware and Maryland and Virginia, you're just not going to see that much snow, too much warm air. But there definitely is the potential for up to an inch of snow there in D.C. as we go through Friday afternoon and Friday night. 60 is nice, but for us it's chilly. Yeah, well, you're probably living in the deep south. Yeah, 60 is probably pretty chilly. Up here, I live in northern Illinois, and I would love to have 60 degrees right now. We've had multiple days with below zero wind chills. The coldest wind chill we had was actually, I believe, 41 degrees below zero a few days ago in the morning. So yeah, it was cold. We had wind chill warnings up here into northern Illinois and much of the Midwest. So we have more of that, unfortunately, coming on Saturday. I'm not happy about it, but, you know, weather is weather, and it'll do what it'll do. So that's why we keep you informed. How is the weather doing in Harrison, Arkansas? It's located in Boone County in central northern Arkansas. All right, so looking back here at Arkansas, let's go back here to tonight. Yeah, pretty dry tonight. We're not seeing any precipitation in Arkansas. That storm system is moving away. So we're seeing snow in the Ohio Valley, not seeing any precipitation there as we go into northern Arkansas tonight. Same thing on Friday. It's just going to be cold. See that high pressure system here, 1,037 low pressure, or high pressure rather. That is going to be that Arctic high pressure coming out of Canada, and that is going to be producing our second push of cold air for Arkansas there. And you can see Friday night pretty dry, just very cold conditions. And looking at those cold conditions, let's go back here over the next couple of days. Like, for example, Saturday morning, our wind chills in northern Arkansas could actually be near zero. So very cold into northern portions of Arkansas as we go into Saturday morning. So starting off your weekend there. So if you live up toward like Jonesboro, Fort Smith, north of Little Rock, yeah, we could be near zero or just a handful of degrees below zero. So those single digits below zero wind chills will be possible. I'm not sure where Henry County, Missouri is. Can you give me a bigger city that's nearby? I appreciate it. Have you been looking at past analogs for the spring? I'm not like really looking into, I'm doing my spring forecast, but I'm not like severely looking into the spring forecast. We still have to get through the second half of winter. We still have the rest of January, February, and early March to go. So I've looked at the spring a little bit. I'm not revealing what I see because there likely to be changes and I don't want to be inaccurate here. So, but yes, we'll get you that spring forecast here in a couple weeks by the middle of February. Yeah, they got a lot of ice out there in the Pacific Northwest and Portland, that's for sure. I think that ice storm warnings or something like that, or winter storm warnings out there. Yeah, a lot of ice. So thank you guys so much for joining. If you are still here, consider subscribing to the channel down below. I will have a video out tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. I will also, be doing more of these live streams with these higher impact systems coming in. We'll probably be updating you on the ice and snowfall potential moving forward for next week's storm system in a live stream later on this weekend. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And again, consider subscribing. Like the live stream down below on your way out if you are on your way out. I know a lot of you guys are ready for dinner already, getting ready for coming home from work and stuff like that. And I get it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. And if you have any more questions, I'll be here for a few more minutes. We're going to end the poll real quick. It says, are you ready for spring? I see about 550 people voted or so. Most people, 65% of us want spring, are ready for spring. 35% of us are still wanting winter to occur. All right, well, we got winter coming for the 35% of us for the next couple of weeks anyway. So I'm going to end that poll. Thank you guys for voting. I appreciate it. Looks like 551 people voted, so I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much, Tim Key. I appreciate you joining as well. Stay warm out there, as I know it's pretty cold up there in the Midwest, so I appreciate it. Is Toronto, Ontario, Canada going to get more snow, I'm guessing you're talking about? Yes, I think they're going to get some snow. Let me look here. There may be some flurries up there, but I don't think we're going to see much snow accumulation. Okay, so going into tonight, Toronto pretty dry, maybe some flurries with the system nearby, and then as we go into Friday, there is some potential for a few snow showers in the area, but I don't think we're going to see any significant snowfall accumulation for Toronto. We're just going to be seeing on and off snow showers at times, or just cloudier skies. So, not really seeing much there. I want to know about snowfall in Wayne County, Pennsylvania, northeast Pennsylvania, Michael. Yeah, looking right now, let's look at you said northeastern Pennsylvania. We're going here. Yeah, so northeastern Pennsylvania, a good 1 to 3 inches is a good bet here across most of these areas. So, yeah, 1 to 3 inches, and most of that will come down on Friday. So Friday morning into Friday afternoon, that will be the most impactful time for snowfall in northeastern Pennsylvania. So that's what we're seeing going in through the day on Friday. Hello from northern Wisconsin. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's going to happen to... I can't even see that. What's going to happen to the Gulf Coast of Louisiana? Very heavy rain over the next few days. We're talking about how the drought, we see a drought here across portions of Louisiana. I know the coast. If you live down toward New Orleans, we have that extreme and exceptional drought in play right now. It does look like we're going to see a lot of rainfall, and I know it's very dry. Here's the soil moisture at the end of December. Notice it's improved over the course of a couple of weeks, but we still need a lot of rain. It looks like coastal Louisiana is going to get some pretty hefty rainfall amounts as we go through the end of January here. And this is an average, okay? This is an ensemble model, and this is an average of about 35 model members. So this is, if it's spitting out a few inches of rain on average, there could be higher or lower amounts on some of those individual model runs that are associated with this run. So we'll continue to watch that. There easily could be areas here, and then we'll show you, there easily could be areas here that could see double-digit rainfall accumulation, especially from around Corpus Christi up through the Beaumont region into Houston, Lake Charles there. There could be areas that see over 10 inches of rain locally with this within the next week. So very, very, very heavy rain here for portions of coastal Texas, especially southeast coast of Texas, and getting into southwestern coast there of Louisiana. New York City region, you're going to get around an inch or two of snow. I'm expecting about 2 inches of snow for New York City. Bring warmer weather. We're getting closer. I think we're around, 50, 60 days till spring, so we're getting there. Every day that goes by, we're getting closer to How are we looking in East Central Indiana? Gets confusing on the I-70 corridor. Absolutely, you can go back and look at that. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around, everybody. I'm just kind of trying to answer as many questions as I can while we're live here today, so I appreciate everybody's patience with me. I think you said East Central Indiana. Yeah, East Central Indiana, a good 2 to 4 inches is a good bet. So 2 to 4 inches is a great bet for you in East Central Indiana there. The highest accumulations up into northeastern Indiana, lower accumulations around 2 inches or so into southeastern Indiana. So that rainfall that they get, yes, will improve that drought across the deep south for sure. Canton, Ohio here. Local weatherman is saying between 4 and 6 inches through Saturday. Might be more depending on the lake effect. What do you think? Canton, Ohio. I'm not exact here. Let me look here. Some of you guys are just throwing out some local cities. I'm not exactly sure where these are, so let me look them up here. I'm not sure where Canton, Ohio is. I believe it's up by the lake there, obviously. Okay, you're south of Cleveland, so you're basically, it looks like about northeastern to eastern Ohio. So looks like 3 to 6 inches is a good bet. So if you live right into the Canton region, I would say about 3 to 4 inches is a great bet. So 3 to 6 inch range in general, but 3 to 4 inches to be more specific is probably likely there. And then higher as you go further north toward Cleveland and up toward Erie, Pennsylvania there, that lake effect snow off Lake Erie could be producing over 6 inch totals locally across those regions. And that will be just Friday, and that'll be just through the day Friday. This goes from Friday morning through the Friday night time frame. Western Kentucky, you're not going to see much snow from this. We're likely just seeing some flurries, maybe a few snow showers. But Western Kentucky, if we're talking like Paducah or west of Lexington, we're just really not seeing much snow out there. Maybe a dusting to a half an inch in central Kentucky. But Western Kentucky toward Paducah, we're likely really, and even Evansville, Indiana there, we're probably not seeing much of it, if any, snow. So to accumulate anyway. There could be some snow showers and some flurries, but I don't think we're going to see any accumulating snow into like Evansville, Paducah, or anything like that. You guys are throwing zip codes out here. If you guys can just throw in your town name, that will help me better. Town name and with your state. Town name with state instead of zip codes. That helps a lot better. But I appreciate it. It's easier for me to type in town names with the state than it is to type in the zip codes because it's just throwing a bunch of numbers up doesn't help me. But thank you guys so much for joining. And again, I do really thank Van Dan. Again, everybody, give thumbs up in the chat again for Van Dan's $100 donation earlier on in the live stream. I really do appreciate it. He's a truck driver, does a lot of good for us here in the country, so I appreciate it. We all love truck drivers. They do a lot of good for us. So thank you. Thank you so much for your generous donation. Rising Sun, Ohio. Okay, thank you very much. Just a moment, folks. Again, thank you guys so much for being patient with me. I'm just kind of looking up some of these town names real quick. Okay, so you're in yeah, okay, so you're south of Toledo there. You're northwestern. So, yeah, northwestern Ohio, you're going to be seeing 3 to 6 inches. So, for the Rising Sun, Ohio region, 3 to 6 inches of snow is expected through your Friday morning and afternoon commute times. So, watch out for that. Just enough to shovel and possibly get the plow out to plow some snow there into northwestern Ohio. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Belair, Maryland. Let me look. Belair, Maryland. I have heard of Belair, Maryland, but it's been quite a while, so. Bel Air, Maryland. Okay. Okay, that's north and east of Baltimore. Yeah, it looks like about 2 inches of snow. And again, most of that will be Friday during the day. So northeastern Maryland there, about 2 inches of snow. Especially the further north and east you go from Baltimore, you're going to see more and more snow. And then up toward Philadelphia, again, a few inches of snow is likely. So, yeah, the Bel Air region there, likely about 2 inches of snow. Massachusetts, thank you for putting your town name in there. It really helps out. I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I really do appreciate the patience. Just trying to get everybody the information they need to get ready for the weekend. Okay, so you're around the Boston. You're very close to Boston there. Yes, so we're looking probably more likely at around a dusting to a half an inch. So we're really not looking at much snow there. So dusting to a half an inch, at least through your Friday night time frame. Worst case scenario into portions there of the northeastern Massachusetts of up to an inch of snow. That's the worst case scenario with this. I wouldn't say closed. It's probably, I don't know what the qualification is for snowfall for to close schools in northwestern Ohio, but I do think that could impact the morning and afternoon commute with potentially some blowing snow. This will be a fluffier snow, so this could impact especially open areas like countrysides and stuff like that. So if you're driving in an open area and you see snow blowing across the road, that's possible with this. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm sure northwestern Ohio's had a lot of significant snows before, and I don't think 3 to 6 inches is going to be enough to close schools, but certainly could delay. Maybe there could be a couple school delays, but I don't think there'll be enough to close schools unless it's really blowing and drifting out there. Southeastern Michigan, yeah, southeast Michigan, in and around the Detroit region, we're talking 2 to 3 inches of snow, and really most of southeastern Michigan up here, that's what we're talking about, is around 2 to 3 inches worth of snow, again, in and around the Detroit region. Lansing may get more like 1 inch to 2 inches, and then back here toward Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, just a couple of inches of snow, and that mostly will be Friday morning. What kind of effect will the El Nino have on spring in the desert Southwest? I'm just getting into the data about the spring right now. I will have a spring forecast coming out in a couple of weeks, but generally when we're coming out of an El Nino going into early spring, we're trending toward a weak El Nino. That typically leads to more moisture for the desert Southwest. So I would say maybe above normal precip, at least for early spring. That may change toward the middle and late portion of the spring. So the spring may start active, but then end less active for your area in the desert Southwest as we're trending out of El Nino. Yeah, snow-covered roads. This snow that we're seeing across the Midwest in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley region, all the way to the Northeast, is going to be fluffy. And we've had a lot of cold air recently, so it's not going to take a lot for it to accumulate. It's going to accumulate as soon as it falls. So yeah, Northwest Ohio is going to accumulate as soon as it falls. So snow-covered roads is expected, or can be expected. Thanks for joining, Honey Badgers from Northern Arizona. Appreciate it. Johnson City, Tennessee, Paul says. Let's see. All right, so let's look. Again, just kind of looking up an individual area here. So you're in... Okay, so you're in far northeastern Tennessee. Yeah, we're not seeing much of any accumulating snow there. Maybe a dusting, but that may be a stretch to get a dusting of snow there. So I would say a few flurries to a few snow showers, worst case scenario there. We're really not seeing much snow there in northeastern Tennessee. We could get a little help there from the Smoky Mountains a little bit with some colder air coming down, but there's not going to be the moisture. Most of the moisture will be lifting further north from you. I think it'll be more rain and maybe an icy mix for you. There could be some icing. I know Tennessee had an icing potential. So I think ice will actually be a bigger deal for you than snow. So if you live in the Johnson City area there in Tennessee, we could see maybe up to 1/10 of an inch of ice and less snow. And honestly, even if you do get a dusting of snow on top of that ice, that actually makes it more treacherous than just seeing straight ice or just straight snow. So that could make it pretty impactful for a commute out there in northeast Tennessee by your Friday morning, Friday afternoon commute. So make sure to take it slow on those roadways. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We will continue to keep you covered. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I have a Twitter or X account for that. So I update on there fairly regularly, as much as I can, with updates about long-range forecasts and stuff like that. And if you guys want more additional weather coverage, you can follow me there at hweather420 on Twitter or X, whatever you call that. And then honestly, I will be doing a video tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., we'll be doing a video. It's even possible I do an afternoon video update tomorrow afternoon, or I go live. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what data comes in with our new weather data that comes in this afternoon and tonight. And we'll be updating you on that ice storm potential for next week. Everybody stay safe, stay warm from the cold. It's going to be another cold air outbreak as we go in towards the Midwest, the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, the Great Lakes, all the northern states going through the weekend. 20 to 30 below zero wind chills, rapid warming trend next week, but with a caveat, we have that snowpack across the Midwest, and remember, that keeps us colder. We have more freezing rain and frozen precipitation across the Midwest. That could lead to some problems for places like Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Des Moines, and even places further south toward Dallas-Fort Worth, Little Rock, and even the Fort Smith area, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, you name it. We will keep you updated here on this channel. Consider subscribing on your way out of the channel. The goal is 75,000 subscribers by the end of this month. So I appreciate everybody's support. Like the live stream on the way out, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Thursday out there. Thanks for joining. See you later, everybody.